So while we're letting people in, what I'm going to do is just start by showing the video. Um, and that way I don't have to repeat myself um, when it comes to the real presentation. So we'll watch this while we wait.
Welcome to the 2021 Digital AP Exams. This year, AP students testing digitally will use our new digital testing application to complete their full-length exams. The app works on desktops and laptops, PC or Mac, and on school-managed Chromebooks. Before exam day, you'll download the app to your device. Then, 3 days before your AP exam, you'll complete a quick exam setup, where you confirm some info about yourself and your device. You must complete exam setup for each digital AP exam you take. On exam day, you need to check in 30 minutes before your exam starts. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and get ready to test. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital testing secure, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or review questions you've already answered. On the free response questions, you'll type directly into the app and your work will be saved to your device automatically. There are no files to upload and you won't submit any handwritten work. An internet connection is required to test, but the app will keep running even if your connection drops momentarily. When the exam is over, your answers will be submitted automatically. If your device is offline, you'll have time to reconnect and submit your work. We're excited to share our new digital testing app with you. Good luck on your AP exam.
And I'll play that one more time.
Welcome to the 2021 Digital AP Exams. This year, AP students testing digitally will use our new digital testing application to complete their full-length exams. The app works on desktops and laptops, PC or Mac, and on school-managed Chromebooks. Before exam day, you'll download the app to your device. Then, 3 days before your AP exam, you'll complete a quick exam setup, where you confirm some info about yourself and your device. You must complete exam setup for each digital AP exam you take. On exam day, you need to check in 30 minutes before your exam starts. You'll review some privacy policies, type a security statement, and get ready to test. Most AP exams are a combination of multiple choice and free response questions. To keep digital testing secure, you won't be able to move back and forth between questions or review questions you've already answered. On the free response questions, you'll type directly into the app and your work will be saved to your device automatically. There are no files to upload and you won't submit any handwritten work. An internet connection is required to test, but the app will keep running even if your connection drops momentarily. When the exam is over, your answers will be submitted automatically. If your device is offline, you'll have time to reconnect and submit your work. We're excited to share our new digital testing app with you. Good luck on your AP exam.
Okay, so I am going to get started. And one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do is if you're going to direct message me, can you direct message Max Rico? Just because I won't be able to answer questions in the chat and present at the same time, but he can monitor the chat and he can read any direct questions and that you don't want to have publicly, and we can answer them live. And yes, this session is being recorded. It should be. And so you'll be able to see this afterwards. Or if your friends or someone didn't make it, you can see it afterwards. Okay. And of course, we need you to keep yourself muted. I would prefer that you ask your questions in the chat for now. And then if we have time at the end and you want to unmute yourself and ask a question, feel free to do so. Oop, I don't see that again.
Welcome to the 20.
Sorry. Trying to get to my next slide. There we go. So if you haven't seen this document, this is our exam schedule. I've posted this pretty much on every Schoology announcement I've had regarding APs. So understand that these are the days in which the exams will happen digitally at home. So you need to make sure that you keep that in mind in regards to setting up your app and making sure that you're at your computer on time. So if you haven't seen this, I can provide a link for this in the chat, but this is the schedule. So just some quick tidbits about the AP exams at home. I know last year some of you took a digital version, what they call the emergency AP exams, and that was done at home. But there are some slight differences between last year and this year. Number one, this year is a full-length 3-hour exam like you would do at school, paper and pencil, except it's on a computer. So last year you just did a free response question. It was around 45 minutes. This year you'll have multiple choice and free response questions. So prepare yourself in terms of having a snack or bottle of water and also needing to go to the bathroom and all that stuff, that this is a full length exam. Also, last year you were able to write your free responses and take a photo and upload it. This year, everything is going to be typed onto the computer. So there is no taking of photos, no handwriting. While you can take notes on a piece of paper, know that you won't be able to upload or your responses or answers to any questions through photo or PDF or what have you. Everything must be on the app. Another big difference is you can't use your smartphone. You can't use a tablet. You have to use a desktop or a laptop if you're using your own computer. And you have to, if you're using a Chromebook, it has to be a one issued by LUSD. You can't use a personal Chromebook that you may have. So it has to be your own personal computer, your own Mac, or an LAUSD Chromebook. Okay. And the other thing is it does require you to have internet access. So you really want to make sure you have that squared away before test day to know that you will need a reliable internet connection. And one big concern is like, what happens if my internet drops? Know that the app will continue to run even if there are disruptions in your internet connection. So you can still test even if that mishap happens. But you do need the internet to eventually upload your exam responses. So this is kind of an overview of what we're going to go through today, which is preparing and setting up for the exam. So the first part is downloading or installing the app. If you're using a Chromebook, it's already there for you. The second part is practicing, and that's what we really want you to do as soon as possible. The third part is 1 to 3 days before your exam. There's like a second setup that you have to do. And then on the day of the exam, you have to get into your app at least 30 minutes before the exam starts to check in. So these are kind of the 4 steps to preparing for your digital exam. And we're going to go through each of these. So the big one is you have to download the app if you're using a personal computer or your own Mac, right? So this is the website to download the app, or you can just Google AP Digital Testing App and you'll get to this website, and this is what it looks like. It'll automatically pop up, download for Windows or download for Mac, depending on what you're using. I know that some students were having trouble downloading this app recently, and you have to make sure that you have enough memory on your computer to do it. So if you're having, and that's why we want you to do it now so that you can troubleshoot these things. So if you are trying to download the app and it's not working, please arrange to either get another device or get an LAUSD Chromebook so that you don't have these issues on test day. Because it's not only downloading the app, but you also have to have, I think, 100 megabytes of space to actually run the test as well. So be sure to troubleshoot this now so that you'll know whether or not you have to use another computer, and make sure that you can install the app successfully. Now, if you're using an LAUSD Chromebook, the app is already installed. So what you're doing is you can't log in with your LAUSD email or password. You're going to just keep it in this kiosk mode. And you'll see the apps tab at the lower left-hand corner. You click on that, and there you'll see 2021 digital AP exams. It's important to know that you're not using the DAC app if you're unless you're taking Spanish or something like that. If you're doing just your normal AP exams, you're clicking on the 2021 digital AP exams. So for both your personal computer and the Chromebook, this is what will pop up after your app has been downloaded. It will ask you to log in with your College Board username and password, the same one that you use to join your My AP Classroom. So it's important that you know what your username and password is from now so that you don't have any issues logging in on test day. Sometimes in the past, we've had students who couldn't remember it or it wasn't working, and that's usually because they had more than one account. And so you want to make sure that you troubleshoot this from now. If you're having an issue with your username or password, it may be because you might have two accounts. And so one thing that I can help you with on this is that I can provide you, if it's not working for you, I can provide you with the email address you use to join My AP Classroom. So reach out to me if that's an issue. If you,
I
in
have a
fact,
question.
okay, give me 1 second.
Okay.
If in fact you do have two College Board accounts, you're going to need to contact them to merge the accounts. Okay, so what's your question?
All right. So it's called the 2021 Digital AP Exams. I clicked on the app. Is it okay if we like log in and will it give us like a practice test of some
Yes.
sort just to make sure
Yeah,
things?
so that's
Okay.
my next slide, right? So once you log in, you'll be able to do both a demo and a digital practice. So just so you understand the difference between the two, the demo is like a shorter length exam. You want to do the demo just to make sure like the questions are displaying correctly on your computer and things like look normal. And then the actual digital practice is a longer test where you can do 9 to 20 multiple choice questions and a full length free response. So it will simulate an actual exam, but just shorter in time. So you'll have a break, and there's also a scoring guideline so that you can see how you scored. And you can do that digital practice over and over again. Yes, you can also use My AP Classroom just to do your regular practice questions. You can also do like AP Daily and the live review sessions that they have on YouTube as another way to practice. But in terms of what is my experience going to be like taking this test on this app, this is what the digital practice is for. Okay. And so just know one thing, I would recommend using the demo first and then the digital practice, because if you do it in reverse, your demo might erase your answers. So with the digital testing app, the practice, you can save your answers and do the scoring. And you can also reset it and do it over and over again. This was really for teachers, but know that myself and teachers can monitor whether or not you've downloaded the app and you've logged in and you've started. So we will be pestering you if you have not done it. So please make sure to save us that time and make sure, we can see your name and stuff and see where you're at. So get started on this today. A few things about testing at home. You should try your best. I know that home environments are always not always perfect, but try your best to be in a room by yourself and in a quiet room so that you don't have any distractions. Um, Also, make sure that your computer, like any additional apps or notifications, or even if you have like a watch or things like that, are turned off in terms of beeps and sounds and bells. Um, Try to share that calendar with your friends and your family and your siblings so that they understand that you'll be testing during this time and it's not a time to kind of walk into the room and ask you a question. Also, make sure that you have your device charged and that you also maybe are near a plug so that you can keep it plugged in. Um, and also, like, this is not a time for people to be playing video games or doing things on your internet while you're taking this test. So really ask everyone to be off the internet as much as possible during this time. If you there is this whole thing about acceptable calculators. So you can actually look that up about, but if you're taking like calculus or physics, know that you can have your calculators with you. You can use scratch paper and pen and pencils as well. Another question that usually comes up is, um, can I have, it's not an open book test, and they have repeatedly said that the questions on these exams are not things that will be in the book or found in the book somehow. So they're saying not to have reference materials accessible during the exam. And if you have a teacher, a parent, or someone who's a teacher, know that they should not have any contact with you while you're taking the exam. You shouldn't be texting or emailing your AP teacher. If you're having trouble during the exam, you can email me and I can help you troubleshoot. But know that you should not be contacting. And I know last year that happened where some people were having trouble and they emailed their teacher during the exam. Please just email me, okay? And I put my email in the chat just now. Okay, so after you download the app, what you're going to need to do 3 days, between 1 and 3 days before the test, is complete the exam setup where they'll ask you some information about yourself and your device. It's important to know that you cannot use multiple devices. So the device that you download the app on and the device that you set up for the before exam day is the device you'll need to use. And this is not something that can be done on exam day. It has to be done before the exam, 1 to 3 days before. So make sure that you pick a device and you commit to it. Also know that you will have to complete this final setup for each exam. So it's not like one and done. You have to do one for each exam that you're taking. Then on exam day, 30 minutes before you take the exam, you have to check in. And so a part of that will be reading the security statement and agreeing to the terms and conditions. And it's important that you do this on time, at least 30 minutes before, because you can't do it, say it's 9 o'clock, oh, I forgot, my AP exam is starting. You can't log in once it has started. So you have to be there at least 30 minutes before. So once you check in, your computer will go into this lockdown mode right before the exam begins, and so you won't be able to access any other device on your computer. I'm sorry, any other apps or functions on your computer. And then you'll also see this time thing at the top. So it'll kind of count down and give you these last warnings before your exam starts about how the exam is going to operate, right? So you can use this timer to keep track, and you can also hide it, but about 5 minutes before the end of the exam, it'll pop back up. And so know that once the time expires on the last section, those answers are submitted automatically. So it's unlike the paper exam where sometimes you would get a last bubble in before you close your exam booklet. Um, it will automatically upload what you've done so far, and it's just done. So there's no, extra time in that way. However, just know that if you had approved accommodations for like extended time or something like that, this is built in to that timer. Um, some things about the actual exam is that you can annotate. So if there's something you wanted to take notes on or highlight, you could do that. You don't have to do paper or pencil. But if you prefer to, you can also do paper, or you can annotate through the app itself on the question. And for students who are taking like science or math exams, know that there is a reference guide for formulas and that you can use as well. There's a zoom in and out ability and a way to expand left or right. So if you wanted to increase the text, you could do that, or it's increase like a picture. And there's a help section so that if you have any questions, there's always a help section available. So the most important thing to know is that unlike the paper and pencil exam, you cannot go back and forth between questions. So once you can't skip, if you skip ahead, you won't be able to go back. And it's important to know that because that's very different from the paper and pencil test. There's no penalty for guessing. So, if you see that you're running out of time or that you really don't know an answer, it's okay to answer every question. Okay, so you shouldn't leave anything unmarked just in case, right? And the same thing goes for the free response questions. There's no going back, and they'll have this warning that will tell you, like, okay, if you move on from this question, you won't be able to go back. With the free response questions that have more than one part, you will be able to go back and forth within that part, but you can't go from one free response to another back and forth. So that's important to know. So you will have a break between sections, like section 1 and section 2 of your test, and there'll be a timer for that. If you were to finish early, for example, that will be added into your break time. So once the break time is over, the test automatically starts up again. And so you want to make sure that you're not, like when we were doing paper and pencil and you went to the bathroom, it took us a while for you to get seated. That's not going to be the case here. Your test will automatically start and you'll start eating into your test time if you're not back at your computer. Also know that you should not close your computer during this time or shut it down or close the laptop. Keep it running during your break. All right, Max, are there any questions in the chat?
Yes, we have a couple.
Okay.
So, two people have asked, so will cameras be required during exams?
No.
Awesome. And then someone asks, if our internet drops, does the timer keep going? As if our internet goes out, do we lose time on our test?
Yes, so the app will continue to run if your internet goes out. So the timer will keep going. There won't be any additional time. You will be able to continue testing up until the end. And if your internet is still out and unable to upload all your answers at the very end, I have a slide for that in terms of troubleshooting, but hopefully your internet kicks back in by the time that happens. What I would recommend is that if your internet goes out, you work from that, what do they call it? From the what is that called? The device, the internet, like your Wi-Fi connector. Don't like restart your computer or anything like that.
Awesome. And then since we aren't writing anything on paper, how do we show work for math-related AP tests?
Yeah, so I don't know the intricacies of the actual test. Um, there is a exam format that will kind of tell you what you'll have to do. If you look for in the chat, and I'll post it again, there's a link for the exam formats. I'm not sure. Let's see if it'll pull up for math. It may take a minute. I know that Ms. Novick was asking about how do you do a graph. All right, so I'll try again. I'll try to find that part later and answer that question.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then three people asked a version of this one. So they said that when they load the exam app, it's stuck on a blue loading screen. They were able to get the login screen once, but can no longer do so, and that their friend has similar issues. Some other people noted that they also have plenty of storage and that they've tried on both a Windows and a Mac, and they still get the same issue.
Mm. Yeah, I really, so this is really a tech question. And my fallback is to get an LAUSD Chromebook. If you're having, and that's why we want you to, try this now. If that app is having trouble downloading on your personal computer, I would just have an LAUSD Chromebook where the app is already installed so that you don't run into this issue. I was able to successfully install on a PC, on a Mac, and I was able to access it on a Chromebook. So this app is working. And so what I'm thinking is that it is a memory issue with your own computer, because I was able to do that right before this meeting. So if you need a Chromebook, please contact Mr. Jeffries or the Title I office, and I will put the email in the chat in a second after this presentation and see if you can arrange to have a Chromebook. And that's why we want you to try this from now to see if there's issues like that. And if it's not working for you, just have that. Use an LASD Chromebook. Okay.
Alrighty. And then someone asks, are we forced to take the test at home? Will there be any school sites we can go to instead due to my home environment?
No, I know that one thing a teacher brought up was, can we do, like for students who are having issues at home, can they come to school and test? I would say let's reach out to me personally to see if we can arrange for someone to be there to supervise the test at school. Try to do this ASAP because that means I have to change the type of test in AP in the AP registration and ordering. It really is about also the fact that you're going to have to get the COVID tests and the daily pass, and do the test, have someone available to supervise you at school. So if you're having extenuating circumstances at home and need to test at school, please email me directly so I can make those arrangements for you.
Alrighty. And is the school schedule going to be shifted to accommodate our tests? And if not, will we be excused from classes where we have tests?
Right. So just like if we were testing in school, the school schedule has never changed for AP exams. They haven't even taken the bells off. So no, your school schedule will not test, but most teachers especially if they're an AP teacher, will know that you're taking AP exams. And so this is about communication. So let your teacher know I'm taking an AP exam on this date, so I won't be in class. And unlike the paper and pencil test, I won't be able to tell them immediately whether or not you're testing, but I can tell them whether or not you did show up on the computer for the test after the test is done. So if your teacher needs verification, that you were doing an AP exam at home, we can show proof of that.
Alrighty. And since we are taking exams at home, would we be allowed to talk to ourselves when testing? Would speaking be considered cheating?
I don't know about that detail, but I would say yes, you should be able to talk to yourself. I don't think that it's recording voices, but I'm not entirely sure. So I don't have an answer to that question. I can always contact the College Board to ask them, and I'll write that down and you can send me an email and I'll follow up with you.
Okay, and then someone just wanted clarification as to why they can't go back to previous questions.
It's a test security feature. So that's just something the College Board has implemented as a test security feature. You won't be able to go back and forth between questions unless it's within, the same part.
All right, and what should they do if they plan to no longer take an exam?
So for this year, and this year was a unique year where there were no cancellation fees. So I have been very flexible with students who are deciding last minute, I don't want to take this exam. So it's just important that you don't do the setup for the exam. Don't access it at all for the exams that you're not going to take. If you do, then you're going to be charged. I will assume that you took the exam, and your exam might be scored. So if you have decided I don't want to take an exam anymore, do not complete setup for it. Also, if you already paid for an exam and decided that you don't want to take it anymore, you will need to contact Mr. Owens in the student store for a refund, but you're going to have to wait until all the exams are completed and my invoicing is done because the funds have already been sent to the district. So your money right now is with the school district. Once they see who has an unused exam, then they'll send the money back to the school for refunds. So it's going to be a while. It probably won't be until after, like the summertime before you'll see a refund, unfortunately. Oh,
Does
and one, sorry,
lockdown?
can I just note also, so just for seniors, this is not so much an issue, but for everybody else, know that this is not happening next year in terms of being able to register for an exam and decide, I don't want to take it anymore. We will be doing the registration in October and the payments in October, no later than October, and you're kind of locked in. So we won't be doing this canceling of exams. I don't feel ready, that type of stuff. This was just a one-time thing for this year because of our current circumstance. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So does lockdown mode automatically turn on when using an LAUSD Chromebook?
Well, once you click on the app and it will go into lockdown mode. You won't be able to access or open any other parts of your Chromebook. You won't be able to sign in, and if you'll have to sign out of your Chromebook, like shut it down in order to do it again, to open up that app again. So yeah, it's pretty much in lockdown mode once you click on it.
And are the language tests also online? I heard that
No.
they might be at school and I'm still unsure about it.
Oh, wow. No, I've made that very clear that all the exams except Spanish language and Spanish literature are at school, right? I'm sorry, are at home. So you'll be taking Spanish Lang and Spanish Lit in the gym at school on May 26th. Sorry, what is the date on that? Let me double check that date. That Friday, May 21st, sorry. Yes, Friday, May 21st. Spanish Lang and Spanish Lit in the gym. You will need to get COVID tested at least, or no, within 7 days of showing up. So I recommend that you get COVID tested maybe that Monday or Tuesday, May 17th or 18th, and you will need to do the daily pass. I will share with Mr. Arons and Mr. Ariano locations for COVID tests. We still haven't clarified whether you'll be able to come to school for mobile testing, but I will follow up with students on that. But please understand that there is no computer exam for Spanish Lang and Spanish Lit. Those students will be taking the exam at school. The reason for that is because the College Board could not prevent translation services from being used in terms of Google Translate and those types of things. So that's why you have to test at school.
And if we don't have access to a scientific calculator, do we need to purchase one?
I believe you can talk to your teacher, like Ms. Novick or Ms. Danielian, the assistant principal, and get what you need to take this exam. So if you don't have a computer, you don't have a calculator, please contact Ms. Danielian. And I'll put her stuff in the chat in a second.
And so will the app be automatically installed for Chromebook users?
It is already installed. So if you did not see that, when you turn on your Chromebook, you don't log in, you're clicking on the apps that you see in the lower left-hand corner, and then you're clicking on 2021 Digital AP Exams. That's how you access the app through the Chromebook. And then you'll log in with your LAUSD username and password. Okay?
And then someone asks, so you mentioned to the faculty that students can't download the app on their personal Chromebook. Is that right?
That is correct. You cannot use a personal Chromebook. You can use a personal computer that's not a Chromebook, a Mac that's not a Chromebook, or an LAUSD Chromebook.
And are the practice exams on the downloaded app required? I know the demo is, but are the practices?
It's not required, but I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that, because you need to know how this exam works. So you could stay in the dark about how it works until exam day, or you could be familiar with it and do it. So that is to help you. You don't have to answer them correctly, but I would recommend doing it so that you understand how the app works.
And then just to make sure, we have to re-download the app for each exam we take?
No, you don't have to re-download the app, but you will need to do a second step, which is completing the setup where you're going to answer information about yourself and the device you're using 1 to 3 days before. So the app will always stay there unless you uninstall it, but 1 to 3 days before setup, 1 to 3 days before your exam, you will complete what's called a setup where you answer some questions for each exam. So if you have an exam on Tuesday, May 18th, you need to complete setup by that Monday, May 17th. And then if you have another exam on Thursday, you will need to complete setup by that Wednesday for that exam. So it's for each individual one.
And do we have to show our testing environment so that proctors know that we are alone and not cheating?
No, you don't have to have your cameras on.
Okay, and can you demonstrate how to reach the lockdown browser through an LAUSD Chromebook?
So it automatically, it's not a lockdown browser. Your computer locks down once you click on that app. So once you click on the app, this is kind of the screenshots for it, right? So once you click on on the app, you will enter your username and password, and then it will go into, this is what it looks like. One second. You'll do the setup, and then this is kind of, you have to do an agreement of the terms and conditions. So once you do all of this, you can't get out of it unless you completely exit the app. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's a lockdown mode, but not the lockdown browser that was used. Some people may have used in AP Classroom. So it's a little bit different.
Alrighty. So although we can't have other devices or textbooks present, can we have physical study notes or formula sheets with us while we take exams?
I think the answer to that is no. It's supposed to mimic what it would be like in a paper pencil environment, and you would not be able to have that on a regular paper pencil test.
So my little brother uses a school-provided Chromebook. Would that also have the testing app on it?
It should, yeah. You can, I would say check it out. That's the best way to answer that question, is to go into the kiosk mode and click on apps and see if it's there.
And then we must take the AP practice test 3 days prior to the actual exam, correct?
You need to set up your exam 1 to 3 days prior to the test. The practice mode can happen today if you wanted to. So you can take the practice tests repeatedly throughout all of this time. But set up for your particular actual exam is 1 to 3 days before. So the setup is not a practice. It's actually setting it up.
So when I open the test app, it says it has an issue updating. It says it cannot update while running on a read-only volume.
So what I would recommend is this using an LUSD Chromebook. I'm not sure if it's a personal computer or an LUSD Chromebook, but what I would recommend is making sure that like your Bluetooth is off. I'm not a tech person, so I can't really help with these little nuances about reader mode, but I would just say please have a Chromebook handy so that if you're having issues with your personal computer, that this doesn't become an issue on exam day.
So can you still pay to take an exam now?
If you registered for the exam, meaning you joined the class in October, you can still pay, and know that once again, this is a one-time thing. Next year, it will not be the case. But yes, you can email me if you don't have the links any longer, and I can give you the link to pay. Is that it?
Kind of. I'm still filtering through some of these last ones. Some of them are repeats.
Okay, so I'll just continue for a little bit then. In terms of the free response questions, you'll be typing your answers directly into the app and it will automatically be saved. If you need to use any special characters, there will be like a text editor for you to do that. And once again, no files to upload, and you won't be able to submit any handwritten work. So when your testing time is over, you'll see this statement, the exam is over. And so what you want to make sure to do is you sit and wait while your answers are being uploaded. So keep this screen here, don't touch anything. And then once you see congratulations, your exam has been submitted, then you know you've successfully completed this exam, your answers have been uploaded, and there's nothing else for you to do for that exam. If, for example, you see this on your desk, on your screen, then there was an issue, and so you can check your internet connection. You can try to reopen and try again to submit. Or if anything, you can call them and they'll have that number available for you to call them to resolve the issue. If for some reason none of these three things work in terms of reconnecting, reopening, or them helping you after you've contacted them, then you can request a makeup test. And so remember that the makeup test is not, oh, I didn't think I didn't do well, so I'm going to try again. That's not a reason for makeup. This is really for students who are having technical issues or unexpected things that have prevented them from submitting it. Um, so here are examples of what would justify a makeup exam, which is an issue occurred that impacted your ability to test. For example, in a medical emergency or things that would normally happen that would require students to retest. Something in terms of um, a, a technical issue that won't allow you to upload. If somehow you miss the official start time of the test, and then, oh, I already said that if your exams were not able to be submitted. So those are reasons why you can request a makeup. And you can start that at the beginning of the testing, May 18th. Important for seniors to know that you want to send your scores to colleges, the college that you're planning to enroll in. So the way to get your free score to send your AP scores officially, you log into MyAP. It got cut off here on the right hand. You'll see My AP Profile. You select ScoreSend tab, and then you type in the name of the school you plan to enroll in this fall to send your free scores. So this will send the scores from this year's test as well as any previous year's tests. The deadline for you to do this free score report is June 20th. So remember if you should have decided by now where you're going. And so go ahead and log in and send your test scores so that they can get it by the July 1st or July 15th deadline, along with your final transcript. All right, and so that is the end of my presentation. My kid likes Naruto, so that's what that's for. Any questions? You can also unmute yourself at this point if you'd like.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if this was addressed already, and I was like 7 minutes late, and that's why I didn't get an answer to this. But you said we have to set up 3 days prior. What do you mean by set up? Would that just be making sure we have access to the app and
No,
are ready to
so
it, or
there is an actual part of it, and I'll show. Give me 1 second. So this is what it'll look like. It'll say ready for exam setup. So you have to click on that yellow button if your exam is 1 to 3 days before your exam starts, and they'll ask you some information about yourself. It's kind of like when we did, what do you call it, pre-administration, where you had to like bubble in things. That's what this is probably. So it's exam setup. So it's not just, it is an actual thing that you have to do.
oh, okay. And we can reach this through the app, right? It'll be on the 2021
Yes, this is
digital.
all through the, it's all through the app.
And the setup for exam thing, it will show up between that time window of 3 to 1 day prior, right? That's when we'll see it. Oh, okay. So it's just a matter of time. We check our app and we fulfill that. Correct.
Yeah. So you can't do it before the 3 days.
Okay, and that's for each
do
exam
it
we're
later
taking,
than one. Yeah, for each exam.
Okay.
And you can't do it later than 1 day. So it's between that window.
All right, thank you.
So I have one from the chat. So I was unable to take my AP language exam due to the circumstances. Will I be able to take the test next year and register into the AP class to access the resources?
If you are not going to be in the class next year, you won't be able to join AP Classroom and access the resources, but you will be able to register for the exam and take the exam itself.
Alrighty, and then another one about internet connection. So, would students be held at fault for internet issues? I understand that the timer will continue to go on and the app will continue to run, but what should the students do if the internet is out up until the time when the timer runs out?
So if your internet is out for the entire 3 hours of the exam, you should continue to test. And at the time that it comes to this screen, if it comes to the screen that says we couldn't upload your answers, you're going to follow these 3 troubleshooting steps. One is to try to reconnect your internet through the box itself. The other is then if you're online, your submission still fails, close the app, reopen it, and try again. And if none of those two things work, you're going to call them and let them know about it. And if none of those 3 things work, then you will need to request a makeup.
Alrighty, so will our scores be used for college admission purposes? And what happens if we don't pass?
So first and foremost, AP um, exams have always been for college credit. First and foremost, that's what they're used for. There has been a part of an admissions review in the past where colleges would look at a student's schedule and if they've taken AP exams, they may have looked at the scores. But for our UCs and Cal States, they are test blind for class of 2022 and 23 and possibly even 24. So no SBAC, no AP, no SAT, no ACT will be used for college admissions reviews. I hope that's very clear. Now, in terms of how AP exams may be used, it could be used after you've been admitted to place you into a higher level class. And if you do not score well on that exam, then you won't be able to get college credit for it. So for UCs and Cal States, you need to score a 3 or higher in order to receive college credit. But for class of 22, 23, it will not be used for college admissions purposes.
Alrighty, and does it automatically send our scores for every test that we take, so when they're sending them to colleges, or can we send individual scores, so some and not others?
Right. So for AP exams, you should only be sending your scores once you are a senior. You shouldn't do it before then. If you would like to share your exam scores on your college application as a when you're applying, you can choose to put which scores you want to put. Some colleges, for example, like Georgetown, once had a policy that said you have to supply all of your scores. But in terms of UCs or Cal States, you can pick and choose what scores you list on your application. Once again, they will not be using those scores for admission. But if you are a senior currently, it will send a history of all of your scores. If you are looking ahead and saying, oh, in my junior year or my sophomore year, I didn't do well in a test, they will receive those scores after you've been admitted. So you just won't get credit for them, but they're not going to be used for admission.
Alrighty, so if on my college application I indicated that I was going to take an AP exam, but I'm no longer taking it, will they be taking my admission away?
It really depends on the campus. So I have advised students that you should update your school about if you listed an AP exam on there and you have you've changed your mind about it, just to be safe. More than likely, nothing will happen as a result of that, but I'd say better safe than sorry in terms of letting them know. I know, for example, UC Berkeley has officially stated that they are not, you are not breaking your terms of admission, your condition of admission by not taking an AP exam. And I would say probably most UCs are going to fall in line in that way, but it's just a safety thing for you to say, okay, let me tell them that there is a change to my spring semester that I indicated on my application. I wouldn't worry about it, but I would just say do it.
Alrighty, so when will we get our AP exam results, and will this affect our grades in our AP classes?
Yeah, so AP exam results come out, I think, around mid-July, around July 15th or so. They have never been connected to actual grades because your grades, you're done by June, and those scores are not even out yet. So they are not tied. And of course, we don't, even though we want you to take the exam as a part of being in an AP class, you're not required to. So it's not like a district policy that you must take the exam. So it cannot be connected to a grade. Is that it?
Someone says that some teachers do incentivize it, though, like if you get a 5, you get an automatic A.
I don't know how that could be because the grades are already in by the time you get your 5.
Oh, they said they do grade change.
Oh, I don't know the intricacies of that in the grade change policies. I'm not familiar with that happening on the back end. That's the first I've actually heard of grade changes happening because of that.
So if we do not submit our scores to colleges, will they still be able to see that we took those tests?
No, but if there is at least one score you want them to see, they're going to see all the scores. But once again, you've already been admitted. You're not being punished for non-passing scores that you've submitted once once you've graduated.
And if we don't do well, will we be able to retake the exam? And if so, will we need to pay the full amount or reduced pay?
So if you could take an exam the following year, but you would be paying for the exam again. So if you pay $5 for the exam because you qualify for free reduced price lunch, you would still pay $5. If you pay full price for the exam, then you would still need to pay full price because it's a whole new exam.
Is there any way we can 100% validate that our payment went through? Should we email you?
Yes, but you should have also received a receipt at the email address you used when it asked you to pay.
Yes. And then you'll see a lot of repeats about which scores to send and
It will
do we have to
send
send all the
all
scores?
scores. It will
Yes.
send, there is no score choice when it comes to AP exams. It will send all scores. But this is a situation we're talking about as a senior who's already enrolling in college. They're just going to take those scores. Every school has a different AP policy. If you're looking at private schools, many of them don't even accept AP credit anyway. But for UCs and Cal States, they don't care if you got a 1 or a 2 in bio your sophomore year. They don't even care if you got a 1 or 2 in English in your senior year. Whatever you got a 3 for is what you'll get credit for. They're not going to go back and look at it. This has nothing to do with admissions. So they're not going to punish you for not doing well on a test.
So if we're able to access the demos and practices in the app, does that mean that our payment went through?
No, that has nothing to do with payment. Everyone who registered for an exam or ordered an exam has access to it. What it will require me to do is that if you actually take the exam and you did not pay for it, then I'm going to have to like track you down and beg you to pay for it. And I don't want to do that. So please make sure that if you are planning to take an exam, that you pay for it. And if you have an outstanding balance, what I may do is say that you can't take it for the next one. But please just make sure that you have paid. And if you haven't done so, I am leaving that link open for you to pay.
And will we be emailed our scores? How can we access them?
Yeah, so you'll be able to access them through your College Board account, um, beginning usually around July 15th. They should send you an email saying your AP scores are ready for viewing, but you'll have to still log into the College Board website to see your scores.
And how many UCs only accept fours to consider you for credit?
UC, the UC system accepts 3 or higher. That's their policy, 3 or higher, regardless of how competitive the campus is.
And that's the last one for now.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming. And I also put a link to this presentation in the chat, as well as the AP exam format, so that if you have any questions about how the actual exam is structured, you can reference that. And of course, feel free to email me if there was a question that you come up with after this presentation. So thank you so much for attending, and tell your friends that we have recorded this, so if they need to access it, they'll be able to do that shortly via the website, as well as I'll post it on Schoology.
Ms. Bryan, I have one last minute question. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you already mentioned this, but if we do have 2 College Board accounts, can we just delete one?
No, you have to call them and ask them to merge it.
Okay. So I would just find their number on their website and call them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just Google College Board Contact Us and tell them that you have 2 accounts and you need to merge it.
Okay. Thank you.
Miss Bryan.
Yeah.
Okay, so my English class does the secure test, and I'm not able to access them through the website, but I do have a Chromebook from the school. Do I just access like these practice exams, like the secure FRQ from the app?
Okay, so those are 2 different things, right? Like if your teacher is giving you practice exams using the lockdown browser, that's one separate thing through my AP Classroom. We should have the lockdown browser on a Chromebook, but just know that that's separate from the actual digital app, where it will go into lockdown mode when you're taking the exam. So there's a lockdown browser for whatever your teacher may be doing with you, but for that practice session, it's through the app. So the app is its own separate entity. Does that make it any clearer?
Yeah, it's because I'm having trouble accessing that,
The app or the lockdown browser?
the browser.
I would just say, let's swap out your Chromebook and get a new one. You have time to do that. Contact Ms. Danielian if you need another Chromebook. What we can do is try to make sure our tech guy is available for him to test the ability for you to open that app before you leave.
Okay, thank you.
And let me find Ms. Danielian's email so that I can put it in the chat for you guys. Let's see. Any other questions?
So someone asks, how can they change their birthday on College Board because it's listed
Mm.
incorrectly?
Yeah, that's great. That's something you want to do ASAP because um, that's like an identity issue. You're going to have to, they're going to open what they call a case where you're going to have to then email, like scan and email them like an ID, like your passport or something to that effect, um, so that you can prove your actual correct name and birth date. Okay, so this is Miss Danielian's email address so that you could arrange to pick up another Chromebook if you need to and see if the app is on there. Also, just know, I want to make sure that if you're having issues, that you're seeing other apps in that kiosk and you're just not seeing the AP one, or if it's you're not seeing any apps, because like I have a Chromebook from the school that students use at home and it's on there, but I had to make sure I was completely signed out to see it. All right. How would not taking the test affect us? I feel like I've answered that. That was a direct message to me. And of course, the Chromebook setting was. All right. So I answered those.
So someone asked me, so will we be able to see our mistakes or what we got wrong on the exam afterwards?
No, I think you just get your score. There is there is a function where the school can pay for your teacher to receive your free response, but we don't pay for that. So no, you won't be able to do that, but you can do that in the digital practice.
And how long is the free response for AP language?
All right, so I'd have to look that up under the exam formats. So give me 1 second. All right, I'm going to share my screen for this one so we can read along. All right, and this is for what subject? English language,
AP
correct?
Lang, yes.
All right, let's see. It doesn't say on here, but it does give you an idea of what happens first. And I know that the teachers thought that the synthesis was first and it wasn't. So um, I think that is probably something we can just Google and find out about how long for each section. But you can email me and I will look into that for you. Is that it?
Yeah, I don't have any more on my part.
All right. Well, I think that's it. Thank you for coming. You probably, I don't even know the schedule, but if you have another class, I guess you can go to your next class. And if you do have any questions, do we skip other classes on exam dates? No, just like on the actual paper and pencil, students were to go back to class on the day after their exam was finished. So there's no taking off for the entire day. But communicate with your teachers. There's going to hopefully be some empathy on that. But that really is not something I can permit you to do. That is something you would have to have an agreement with in terms of your teacher saying it's okay for you to miss that particular day. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'm going to then end it, but thank you for coming. And, just if I would say let's use this time to troubleshoot with this app so that there's no surprises on test day. Alrighty, bye guys. Thank you, Max, for helping.
Yeah, no problem.
I may actually be asking you to help me on test day. I don't know if you were planning to come in on campus at all, but I will have to come into campus for the Spanish test. So I don't know if you feel comfortable or not coming in on that Friday, May 21st, but I will have to be there for that day.
Yeah, I'm definitely willing to go.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. Well, I'm meeting with Ms. Danielian tomorrow to find out a little bit more details about the at school testing. So I will follow up with you on that.
For sure.
Okay. All right. I'm going to end this meeting. Goodbye, everyone. And I will send you the recording if you can help me with that again in terms of putting
Yes.
it on the website and, you know, editing wherever it needs to be edited. Awesome. All righty. Thanks. Bye, everyone.